أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. نحمده ونستعينه ونتوكل عليه إنه خير ناصر ومعين. ثم الصلاة والسلام على خير خلقه وأشرف أنبيائه ورسله أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
The topic of our discussion is Islamic Philosophy Course. Here is Al-Mustafa International University in Johannesburg, and I'm offering this course at this university, and we are going to put it on the YouTube for everyone to be able to learn from this discussion. The first issue that I have to discuss is the importance of logical reasoning in Islam. We, as followers of Ahlul Bayt, we are proud that we are the most logical religion in the world. In other words, every other sect, every other school of thought is teaching you and encouraging you to just follow what the priest says and don't ask questions. Here we encourage people to ask questions because we have the logic for it. So why we should not entertain questions? Why we should not answer questions? If you open the Risala of every Mujtahid, just open the Risala of any Mujtahid. The first issue in the Risala is this one. That we have two types of ahkam and issues in Islam. One is the basic principles, and the other one is the branches, which we call it furu'ud-din, the branches of Islam. Secondary issues, in other words. Basic issues and secondary issues. Basic issues are 5. In fact, it's 3, but I'll explain later why we have made it to 5, which is those other 2 that added is related to the same 3. One is what? Everyone? Tawheed. Second one? Adl, justice. 3, Nabuwwat. 4, Imamat. And 5th, Ma'ad, or Day of Judgment. These are the basic principles of Islam, and it is logical basic principles because we are answering to the main 3 questions of every single human being. Where we are coming from, Tawheed and Adl. Where we are here, Prophethood and Imamat. Where we are heading is Ma'ad. Answering 3 basic questions that we have. Beside these 5 issues, every other issue in Islam is what? Furu'ud-din. But main furu'ud-din which is counted are those prayer, fasting, zakat, khums, hajj, amr bil ma'ruf, nahy anil munkar, tawalla, tabarra, zakat, these things. These are what? Furu'ud-din. The Risala of every Mujtahid tells that when it comes to Furu'ud-din, you are allowed to make taqleed of a Mujtahid. But when it comes to basic principles of Islam, this is the official fatwa of every marja' taqleed that you are not permitted to follow. When it comes to these 5 issues, is God there or not? Is He just or not? Is He okay, has he sent any prophet or not? Do we need imamat or not? Or the day of judgment is there or not? These things you are not permitted, you are not allowed to follow any mujtahid. The one mujtahid comes with a conclusion that, okay, God is, the other one says God is not there. The one mujtahid may say God is one, the other one may say it's two. There is no room for following and imitation and taqlid. What that means? It means it is obligatory on every soul, not only Muslims, every soul across the globe, that when it comes to these 5 basic principles, to these 3 main questions that they have, because this 3 question is not Shia question, it's not Sunni question, it's not Christian questions, it's a human question. Where we coming from, where we are, where we going. The whole philosophy is answering to this question. Okay? So, you are not allowed now to make any imitation or taqlid. That this mujtahid says this, so I'm following him. So God is one. The other one says, no, God is two, so I'm following him. There is no such thing as ijtihad, as you following a mujtahid. So what that means? It means you have to become mujtahid yourself. When it comes to this issue, you are not allowed to be a follower. You need your own ijtihad. You need your own research. You need your own investigation of the truth to find out, is there any God there for me to consider him present, and I should do this or I should not to do that, to recognize his presence or not, or there is no God. Life with God or without God is completely 2 different worlds. But you should have your own ijtihad. You should have your own research and investigation of the truth. You can't just follow somebody. Following or understanding of some other people is not going to be what you call reasonable for you anymore. You have to have your own knowledge when it comes to these 5 things. Is God there? If God is there, is he one? Is he two? And has he sent any prophet? Do we need imamat? What is the day of judgment? All of these things you have to come to conclusion yourself. So that is what we are going to give you ijtihad when it comes to these 5 issues. That's why it's very important for you to know the reasons for existence of God and his unity and the imamat and the 5 basic principles of Islam from pure logic point of view. Because our audience is not only followers of Ahlul Bayt or the Sunni brothers or Muslims or Christians. No, we are facing all human beings to identify with what we are saying. Listen to this conversation and find logic in it. And if you find logic, then follow it. So that's why we cannot prove these 5 things from the divine scriptures. So if I come and give you reason that God is one because it's written in the Quran, somebody who is a Christian, he says, sorry, that's your book, I don't agree. An atheist says, hey, I don't even believe in any of these divine scriptures. So just keep it for yourself. So we are not going to open Bible or Torah or Quran to prove these 5 basic principles. We are not even going to touch any hadith book. We are going to basically lean on one common tool that all human beings across the globe they have. And that is what? the power of intellect, wisdom. So every single reason which is given in this class, which I don't know, it's going to take minimum 60, 70 sessions, is going to be only using what? Wisdom and rationals, nothing else. So prepare for a long journey when it comes to basic principles of Islam, proving it from reason and logic and rational point of view. Are we ready? Great. So, the importance of wisdom. First, we have to see how this wisdom that we are going to use is important. Even in Islam, how this wisdom is more important than anything else in the world. Wisdom is the ability of differentiating between wrong and right. And the only thing which gives you as human being priority than any other creature is the wisdom. Nothing else. An animal can run more than human being. A hawk can see an object from 1 kilometer while you are not able to. A dog can smell things that even it's in a sweetie case, under the ground, can smell, but you can't. A horse can run more than a human being. An elephant has got more power than Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali Clay. So from those physical point of view, animals are more advanced than you. But the only thing which you have and the other creatures doesn't have is wisdom, intellect. And that is something to be utilized in every single aspect of your life. It's so important that it is more than anything, before anything else. Wisdom and aql is before anything else. So, let me give you an example. In Islam, we have an accepted fact. This accepted fact is between all ulamas of Islam. Every single alim in Islam has come to this conclusion and have accepted this fact. What that fact is says, كُلَّمَا حَكَمَ بِهِ الْعَقْلِ حَكَمَ بِهِ الشَّرْعِ. Everything which aql has allowed or aql has encouraged and aql has introduced, that is something which Islam also has allowed it. If somebody can just remove this the sound here, maybe they can ask the caretaker to chase them away from here. Well, and it is vice versa also. كلما حكم به الشرع حكم به العقل. Everything which Islam signs, aql also signs, and whatever aql signs, Islam also will sign. This is how important aql is. Okay? So everything which is, it's according to wisdom, you will definitely find some reason for it in Islam. And whatever it is illogical, definitely you will find un-Islamic too. Okay, I'll ask you a question. Prophet, our Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, at what age he become prophet? At the age of 40. Okay. Before he became a prophet, what religion he had? See? Was he Christian? Can you say so? He was not following. If he was supposed to follow any religion, it has supposed to be Christianity. But some people say, no, he was a Hanif. In other words, he was like Ibrahim. In other words, he was following Ibrahim. You are not allowed to do that. I have to follow my immediate prophet, not the one before him. Okay? If somebody wants to follow today a religion, he has to follow our prophet. Not that say, hey, sorry, he is also prophet, but I follow the prophet before him as the prophet also did. No, you are not allowed to. So prophet was not Christian definitely. And he was not follower of Ibrahim in that sense also to be, okay, that Ibrahim was his prophet in that word, in that sense. So what he was? Yeah? Hanifan, Musliman, wama ana min al-mushrikin. He was Hanif. What it means, Hanif? Hanif was the one who is following his intellect, his own wisdom, his own fitrah, and his own what? Nature. He was Hanif. Somebody who was born and he thinks naturally, he works naturally, he acts naturally. That person is Hanif. So, the first prophet that our Nabi Karim sallallahu alayhi wasallam had was the inner prophet. So we have two types of prophet. One is a prophet from outside, and the other prophet is from inside. So the prophet from inside is more important, or the prophet from outside? Of course, the prophet from inside. Because the same prophet from inside is going to lead you to follow the prophet from outside. Otherwise, if you don't have the wisdom inside and the intellect inside and the inner prophet, you are going to be misguided. You are not going to follow any prophet. So what made our Nabi Karim sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to become a prophet? It is the inner prophet inside himself. The same was with Ibrahim alayhi salam. Ibrahim was also, the methodology of Ibrahim was also the same, logicality. If you look at Quran, you will see, Quran says, Ibrahim saw a star on the sky. A shining point, say, oh, that is God. And then when the star disappears, says, no, it can't be my God. Logic says, no, disappearing thing can't be my God. Logic. And then he saw moon. Oh, no, that is a bigger one. So he can be, that object can be God. And then moon also disappears. No, this can't be. So definitely the sun is God. But when the sun is also disappears, said, no, God can't disappear. That logic. إِنِّي لَا أُحِبُّ الْآفِلِينَ. Something which disappears is not going to be God. So, process. It has got a process. We will talk about process of logical discussion, logical thinking. Today we are just talking about the importance of logic, and the Prophet ﷺ was a Hanif. In other words, he was also thinking logically as he was in the desert with the sheep, in the cave, in the mountain, thinking about the greatness of this whole universe, how this universe can't have a God, So definitely there is a creator. So how I can be in touch with that creator's thinking, lead him to be a prophet. So the qualification that our Nabi Kareem has for prophethood is coming from being a logical person. When Allah saw logicality in him, when Allah saw that he is thinking about these issues, then Allah guided him. Then Allah made him to be the prophet for the rest of humanity. So if we have prophet as a prophet today, it's because of logical thinking, because of the inner prophet. And that inner prophet is not only in Nabi Kareem, it's in every single person in you. Even a Buddhist in Kathmandu has the same. Okay, a Jewish person will also have it. A Catholic in Vatican also may have the same inner logic, but it's not probably directed properly. Otherwise, it will lead you to the right position. It's just that we are not using the intellect properly. Okay, so Islam is the only religion, and between the Islamic sects also, let me tell you proudly, because I have studied, I have compared over 20 basic main religions of the world. I have studied them and I have compared them with each other, and the only criteria that I applied in all of them is how much logical they are. Not how much emotional they can be, because that is a second issue. How much logical Christianity is, how much logical like Judaism is, how much logical Shinto or Buddhism is, or Hinduism, how much logic is applied there. Because I want to choose between religions. And if it's not logical, it doesn't make sense to me. Anything doesn't make sense, you should not follow, including religion. If there is a food, doesn't make sense. If there is a book, doesn't make sense. If somebody talking to you but doesn't make sense, just leave him. Anything doesn't make sense, including religion. So, religion has to make sense. And if a religion doesn't make sense, it's not from Allah. Because Allah is definitely the creator of intellect, and He is not going to teach you what? To go against your intellect. God is creating human being with capability to differentiate between wrong and right. Okay? Then He is telling you, He is the tool that He has given you is saying 2 plus 2 becoming how much? 4. Now He can't send a prophet to human being to tell to mankind, I, as a God, as your creator, I'm telling you 2 plus 2 becoming 5. Okay? So what He as creator is going to tell to human being has to be conforming with the tool that He has given me. The tool He has given me is, in any way I count, is becoming 4. If I do it with a calculator, it's becoming 4. If I use my finger, it's becoming 4. If I go to my teacher, it says 4. If I ask anybody else, it says 4. All of a sudden, somebody comes, says, the Jibreel just talked to me, and he said, tell to human being that 2 plus 2 is 5. Don't think it's 4. And I said, maybe God doesn't know calculation. Okay? Or maybe He has given me a wrong software. One of these two. Either He has given me a wrong software that I think it's 4, This software that He has given me, it says 4. It's just like Samsung, He's given you this machine. In this machine, when there is a keyboard, and you press Y, but it produce Y. So it's fine, it's working properly. Somebody from Samsung calls you, why you press Y and it generate N? You must think that this is N, not Y. They say, but you have given me this software. You can't go against your own software. It says Y. And when I press Y, it generates Y. Don't come and tell me, no, it has to produce N. I say, but that is the software you have given me. So the same is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He has given you a software called Aql. This Aql generates 4, but He can't now send a prophet to tell me that no, that 4 is wrong. That calculator is wrong. Your wisdom is wrong. Listen to me. I am your creator, and this is my prophet. 2 plus 2 is 5. Just believe it. You can't do that. And let me tell you, 99% of all religions in the world are telling you that 2 plus 2 is 5. And they are saying it from behalf of Allah. They're saying it from behalf of God. Okay? Can you see where disaster is? And there is only one religion which says, listen to that conversation, that inner software. Because it is inside you, and you know definitely God put it there. The other prophet which is outside, we don't know if he's real prophet. Yeah? A standard, good, authentic prophet should not go against the software which God has given. He has to confirm. That's why كُلَّمَا حَكَمَ بِهِ الْعَقْلِ حَكَمَ بِالشَّعْرِ. It means the software inside, if whatever it says, it has to conform with what that prophet. If a prophet come and go against that software, don't have a doubt in your software. Have a doubt in the prophecy of that person. If he's the right prophet, you don't make sense. God can't make mistaken calculations. Okay? You're telling me 5. No. Go and find somebody else. I'm not going to be a fool. This God who created me, He tells me it's 4. And the software He has given me is 4. So you are definitely a false prophet. Logicality. Okay? So, it's very important for us to know the importance of logic. Logic is something which without the proper logic, you are going to be always misguided. And let me tell you, a lot of emotional things has been inserted to Islam that you need to now differentiate. And using logic is one of them. And amazingly, alhamdulillah, in Shia fiqh, beside kitab, beside sunnah, hadith, there is another element has been added as a source, and that is aql and ijma'. 4 things: aql and ijma'. 4 sources we have. The Sunni brothers has got only 2 sources, kitab and sunnah. But in Shia fiqh we have aql and ijma' also added, because ijma' is also somehow importance of aql, because so many uqala, so many ulamas are coming to one conclusion. So it means their brain is working. Their brain is saying the same thing. So it is again going back to the same aql. That is very important. So aql is so important that it is the basic need that you have for differentiating between haqq and batil. There was somebody came to the Prophet and start praising somebody. Hey, he goes every year to Mecca and he prays tahajjud and he is fasting every day and he is the first come to masjid, last come to go, and all first person. The Prophet asked him one small question. كيف عقله? How is his wisdom? His brain works or Allah doesn't want you to be a sheep. Allah doesn't want you to be a follower. Allah wants you to think and use capability. As much as you use more aql, you are more Muslim. You are more close to Allah. Okay? Sayyid Jamaluddin Asadabadi has got a famous saying. He says, I went to West and I saw Islam. I didn't see Muslims. Famous saying. Okay? I went to West, I saw Islam, I didn't see Muslims. But I came to Islamic countries, I saw so many Muslims, I didn't see Islam. Why? Because Western people, in some issues they forget aql. But in those issues which they really follow aql, they have sorted their problems. Okay? In Muslim countries, because we completely kissed the aql and kept it aside, we have so many problems. While this Islam is teaching you to be wise before everything else. If you are not a wise Muslim, your ibadat also doesn't have so much value. Ibadat out of wisdom is 100 times more valuable than an ibadat with emotion or feelings. Okay? That's why in every single aspect in your deen, in your education, always give priority to aql. And without aql, Muslims are going to be without proper religion. That's why we have so many Muslims, but because there is no wisdom, there is no aql. You see so many decades and problems we have in the Islamic Ummah. On simple issues, we don't use our aql. Like unity, we don't use our aql. The common enemy that we have in Israel is slaughtering our children, but the Muslim brothers, they are fighting against Shia Sunni things. Where is the aql? They're on simple issues I'm talking about. Okay? They don't use aql. And that is the biggest problem that we have. So my brothers, this is an introduction. I don't want to go in detail. Inshallah, from next week, we are going to go into details. The topic of the lecture is going to be announced. I'm going to establish a group, and then in that group, I'm going to probably even load the lectures, and you will have access to go back and do whatever you need to do. But these writings are very important to memorize things for yourself for future use. You should be able to learn these lessons such that you should sit here and say the same thing that I am saying, that I have said to you guys, to the other people. You should be so much convinced to be able to convince other people. Otherwise, you never participated in these lectures. If you come to that, if you got the ability and capability to convince other people, then you have achieved. Otherwise, if you just listen from this ear and gone out, and it didn't change your life and didn't do anything, didn't make sense for you, you never participated in this lecture. So, inshallah, we are going to continue this discussion in our future sessions. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.